What's up, Tree Life? I can't call you like some clever name after my name. That's just, I can't think of one. I guess we used to go with the Steelborn Army, but Borner sounds too much like boners, and Steelers, it's weird. So, unless you're a football team. If you're new here, this probably sounds and seems strange. But if you're not, you know that I'm always behind for everything. I will be late for my own funeral. So, yeah. I should have had all this cleaned and stuff long before this, but it's been a very, very ridiculously hot and aggravating week. So I've climbed trees for, let's see, I'm 40. I've done it since I was around 15. Is when I really actually climbed. I had climbed before that, but you can't count that. Like, I learned how to run a chainsaw on the ground and got good at it long before I ever took it up in a tree, but I was up in a tree way before that. So most people would probably try to get every year and maybe add a couple extra. I think that's the nature of being a YouTube tree climber, is you embellish, or not even a YouTube tree climber, a social media tree climber. You got to embellish by a few years at least. So, yeah. How's everybody doing? As soon as I get this cleaned up, I'll pull you guys over and we'll get into it. But yeah, this week was so crazy hot. I've never had an issue with working being hot. Like, I've overheated myself and been sick for days afterwards. Like, I feel like I'm on my deathbed sick. But that's, like, I kind of knew I was doing it when I was doing it. So, but the other day, I had spent a few days out in this, and on like the third day, I was up in a tree and I started to just get to where I felt like I was going to have a nervous breakdown, because I started thinking about how hot I was and how much tree I still had, and that it wasn't getting cooler, it was getting hotter. And I don't know. Maybe I was stressed out or something. I probably was, but I usually am. But I like legit felt like I was going to have a nervous breakdown and I have to get down. And I've never had that issue to the point I had to like take my hard hat off, and I'm used to like I'll pour sweat. That doesn't make me feel any sort of way. I'm used to that. That's just like, I stay active. I'm used to being hot and somewhat overheated. I actually enjoy like pushing my body to the max and like seeing what I could do. But yeah, I've never had that issue where it wasn't too long ago I tried to climb up in my attic, and the thought of being trapped, it was super, super hot up there. And I got partially there and felt like I was going to have like a nervous breakdown and had to go back and get back out of the attic. I'm usually pretty good at dealing with that kind of stuff. I'll like stop, relax myself, like stabilize my breathing, and like try to focus on something positive. But like, I don't know, life just kind of gets you sometimes, and I felt like on that day it was getting the best of me, and I didn't know what to do. I felt like for the first time I was like gonna have to get down and say I can't do it, but not have a good reason as to why I couldn't do it. So, what's up, Jeffrey? Ground Pounder? Brandon, what's up, man? Shooting? I can't even see. shooting dice here at the house with company, but I'm here. You the man. That's so awesome. Yeah, yeah, I appreciate that, brother. I really do. Not a whole lot, Brandon. How you been, brother? So, yeah, I've never had that issue with heat. And then I had a bit of a goof. Like, literally, before I went up and had the bit of a nervous attack, I, uh, I had an accident right before that. And, yeah, it was a bummer. It was, I don't know. My back still kind of hurts. So, I'll get into that probably later on, and we'll talk about it. But yeah, it was a rough one. It's been a rough week, and I know I always say I'm unprepared for these, but I'm like extra unprepared for this one. So bear with me. You know, it's probably not going to be the greatest live feed we've ever done, but I'm gonna try my best here. Not bad. Having my daughter's bathroom ceiling redone today. Oh, right on. Cool. Cool. Yeah, I got to see my kid. She's in town from college, and I took her to the mall. Her and her mom to the mall earlier today. So that's what I've been doing. I just got back a couple hours ago, ran up the street and mowed the neighbor's yard, and this elderly woman up the street. So yeah, she found out her husband passed away, and I didn't really know him all that good, but like I knew he was really nice. I would be out here skateboarding, he would drive down and tell me, "You're getting pretty good at that thing." And he was just a nice guy. So I had no idea he passed away, and then I seen her yard was getting crazy high. So yeah, try to help out where I can. Um, I'll take any good karma I can get, especially doing what I do. Uh, I have one now that I'm on that procrastination point where you're like, do I do this or not? Is it worth it? It's a dead ash tree, and those are always rough. Those are always rough. I don't care when they come. They're they're so weak and brittle. So, in this video, we are going to do my top 10 ways to check the safety of a tree. I'm probably, you know what, I'm kind of, for sure, we'll probably end up with more than 10. But I'm just going to list off and we'll go over a few things that you can do when you see a tree and you're worried if it's safe enough to climb. A lot of times the reason for that is going to be because of it being dead. So we'll just, I tell you what, let's do that now. Let's do that now before I get, no, I don't want to do that. We will do those top 10 right after we do this week and YouTube stuff. John Bob. Oh, what's up, my brother? Haven't seen you in a bit. Heat index here Tuesday was 102. Yeah, but it was really rough, man. It was really rough. And I'm not usually one to say that. I push and push and push, and I have to realize that I do that. So I do have to always try to realize, like, hey, you know, Jake will maybe push it too much because he's trying to keep up, or he sees that I'm going, so he should go. But yeah, sometimes you just need to take a break, and I feel like I should have, and so, and it was like a big pin oak tree, really like that I was deadwooding and thinning, getting the broken stuff out of, like fresh cuts and stuff. So it was just there was no air up there, and it felt like it was like closing in on me, and that was rough. I hate being that way, like because a physical thing, mental thing, those are the things that scare me. Like I don't want a mental ability, and nowadays everyone self-diagnoses themselves with some kind of disease as it is. So yeah, I don't want to be that type of person either. So I don't know. It really bugs me because the mental thing's not something I can fix physically. So it's like it gets to me sometimes. So, on occasion, I think I've been known as a control freak. So, Peter, what's going on, man? So this week on YouTube, I seen once again a lot of good videos. It seemed like the videos came in really heavy towards the end of the week for me. Gaming Lord Finn, what's up, Lord Finn? How are we? Yeah, the end of the week was just it seemed like I thought I was caught up, and then all of a sudden people like upload. I was like, ah, dang. And so I was having a mad scramble to try to catch up on some stuff before we started this live feed. We're just gonna wing it through it and just do it, see how it goes. So, this week, Zacchaeus, a really good tree guy. He's always doing something kind of interesting. It seems like he's always messing with some kind of newer tool. He's doing some kind of a tricky rigging setup. So he did a controlled speed line. It was a really, really cool video. The video was called Super High Tree Removal. So yeah, he did a really cool system where normally you would rig a piece. I'm glad I have this demo thing here. I can always just kind of point to it. So normally you would rig a piece off like here, like normal, but then you would just put like a like an anchor line that you leave like hanging, and you suspend and you stop the branch, and then this one you have them tighten it up, and it goes tight, and then that limb can ride down that line, and you can get over the top of a bunch of stuff. So it's a really, really good technique. And I see sometimes people try to keep, as they're rigging, they try to keep the speed line set up tight. And what that does is it ends up side loading the tree like crazy and yanking on it wherever you have it anchored at. So usually with controlled speed line, I feel like the best way is if you're going really little, you could do that. You can just tighten the speed line and it'll drop into the speed line and ride it. But I would say if you have the height, always rig it into the normal rigging setup, and then from that point tighten it up and then let it ride the line. So that's what Zacchaeus was doing. It was a really quite a distance, so he had to really cover some area set up. And so like the way it worked, he was having to really side load that tree after the piece rigged off. Then they tightened just so they could clear this one little fence, and this little fence was kind of wreaking havoc on the whole situation. If it wouldn't have, it would have been so smooth and so nice. So yeah, it was a really cool video. You guys should definitely go check that out. That was called Super High Tree Removal. But one thing I do want to discuss, and I see so many tree guys make this mistake. Okay, so let's say we're rigging a branch. Okay, so we got like there. Okay. So if you're rigging like this branch here, and let's see, I'm trying to figure out the best way for me to be able to explain this so it makes sense. Okay, let's say we have our rigging point right up here. I have some other colors, yeah. That's in the camera, right? Okay, yeah. So you have your rigging point over here. So your rope goes over to this. It's tied to it. And then it goes over to this. You have your little rigging block, whatever it is that you have. And then that rope goes down into your porter up here. And your guy's over here and he's holding it, okay? So the climber a lot of times is gonna be, he's gonna find himself like, he'll be, let's say here. Okay, you see the climber? There he is. So when you go to cut this piece, I see too many times that guys, a tree doesn't always have to be notched. And when you're in these positions, you see that this limb here has to swing all the way over to this point, okay? It's got to swing all the way around and over to here. So, boom, all the way over. And then you'll lower it down. Well, what happens, depending on where that climber is he can make the cut, and it can actually, because it's so far away, it can go the other direction and then drop down on top of the climber. So in these situations, like you're up there and like let's say I'm making the cut. I'm on the back side here and I'm making the cut and I want the branch to go swing this way. I wonder if I can do it with this thing. So I want the branch in this situation. Let's do this. Sometimes guys can get out and there's that point where you're rigging where it just, I don't know why, but it ends up working out to where it could easily, say you've been rigging and every time you've been swinging them around this way. Well, you get the rigging point. Say you wanted to get out a little further so you could tip tie or wherever you was to put it. And you have it tight. So normally where it would start to move, it goes the easiest way. And let's say you wanted it to go this way, but it instead, as it broke off, it just said. And if you've climbed for a length of time, you've definitely had where you end up with a branch with the rope going across your lanyard. So the limb ends up going the wrong direction and you mess up. So it's in those situations, here's my recommendation. Because you end up putting a notch and you're rigging, let's say you're not even rigging all the way out here. Let's say you're rigging down to here. Okay? Now, if you put a notch and you expect this branch to go this way, you put a notch here facing this way, and what ends up happening is before the notch starts to go, gravity takes over and it breaks right here. And it doesn't go this way at all. It just kind of breaks over. The butt kicks up and it goes across you. So instead of putting a notch and trying to direct it, my suggestion is always to just start and make a back cut. Make the back cut and allow the branch to start to work its way down and start to move this way before you separate it from the cut. So if you're cutting right there, let that branch start moving and start getting away. Now, you're guaranteed that it's not going to go back that way if you're making your back cut into it and you're forcing it to go, so it's going to peel and rip off like right here. It's going to rip down some of it. I would make sure that you're not lanyarded in right there, because if it peels, it's going to yank your lanyard. But in those situations, just a simple back cut on that branch is going to keep the chance of it going and jumping up and going across your rigging line or your lanyard. It's happened to me more times than I like to admit. I mean, and it took me quite a while before I even realized what was going on. It happened so many times that finally I was like, what? Why does that happen? Like, and it's usually in the craziest, weirdest situations, and you're forced to like physically grab it and pull it up, or it ends up hanging on a stub right next to it. And a simple back cut, letting that thing peel, a peel cut, is gonna work better in that scenario. You don't have to turn it so sharp. You can start to just peel it in that direction instead of putting a notch that faces this way. You can just start to peel it like that way. So that's just my opinion on it. Zacchaeus ended up getting in that situation there where he had to, and with his setup, like we were saying, it is a controlled speed line. So he had too many ropes. He had to free these ropes and clear these ropes. Where if he'd appeal cut it, it went the right direction. But yeah, you live and you learn. I think he was probably. I think he even said in the video he got hot and made a mistake. So yeah, I've I've made many, and I'll probably make many more. So I'm definitely not pointing any fingers, but it's just something I wanted to discuss, and I see happen all the time. So I just that's that's how I prevent it. So I may be wrong though. 100% Mike. The back cut only is very beneficial for safety in this. Yeah, 100%. I do it more often than not. 100%. Yeah, Peter, you're right. That's and that's what I wanted. I wanted to see other tree guys, and I was hoping. I was pretty for sure that other guys have realized the issue there and started to use it. But I'm still also guilty on the regular of trying to put a notch and direct something like against gravity, and my saw gets pinched, or so. I mean, that stuff happens. But like the peel cut, I think people think you have to have a notch on everything. You have to have a face cut on everything, like, and you don't. You just don't. So. Dang, Billy. I hope you're alright, brother. So, Mike, when you hook the limb, would you be better off hooking it closer to the cut? Um, well, that kind of varies because it depends on what you want that branch to do. So, my opinion, if we were doing this here and I was wanting that branch to go this way and I had room to let it dip down, I'm gonna use gravity in my favor. I'm gonna start to cut kind of in this direction. My cut's gonna be like in this direction because gravity's gonna let it go down. It's gonna start to peel down, but I'm gonna face it way more to the side, especially as I see it start to open and I can allow it to peel. If I don't have height and there's an obstacle, if there's an obstacle here that I need to watch out for, that's where it changes. So if I don't have height here, I'm going to go tip tie. Or I'm going to try to go balanced and try to get it to go. But if I have height enough to hang this thing and let it hang all the way down and peel down, I'm going to go closer to the cut. So I think sometimes guys will hook a branch up first and then think about the cut. When in actuality, for the most part, I'm thinking of what the cut's going to be before I set the rig up. So, and what I have. So, like, the situation, the obstacles is kind of going to determine that, John Bob. So, okay. Dang, I got one name out and I went off on a tangent, didn't I? It's going to take forever to get through this. So, yeah, peel cuts are is a must at times. It's a must. Like, it just works better. I know it's probably not the prettiest thing if you're trying to do a fancy YouTube video and you want to show all your skill at like making a notch without looking and back barring and all that cool stuff. But sometimes the most effective technique is the simplest. And nowadays, I think many things get overcomplicated for no reason. So, just got off the phone with Greg. Oh, did you? Chris Jams, what's up? Yeah, very, very different world nowadays. I think even just people in general try to overcomplicate and over analyze every situation to either make themselves come off as smarter or be overly dramatic for the sense of what they think is entertainment. I mean, we live in a wild world. So I finally got my dad to bore cut heavy leaners. Really? That's awesome. When it comes to a heavy leaner, I'm always a tree jack guy. I'm hooking the tree jack up the maze dam and I'm creeping it over little by little on a nice hinge. I don't, I don't even really like wedges. My only reason for using a wedge is if I have a fear that that tree was to set back either on my saw when I need to be cutting, like when I'm trying to even the hinge out or get that nice hinge, or yeah, that's basically it. Or if I'm afraid it's going to set back some when we start to use the tree jack on it. That's really the only reason I use wedges anymore. Um, I just don't use them much. I really don't. But yeah, the bore cut is such a good technique for doing that. So you can really preload and stuff. That's usually my method, John Pob, is to go ahead and set my notch. Um, then pre-tension the tree. And oftentimes you can have kind of a back-leaning tree that you put your face cut in, and then you pre-tension with the tree jack. And before you start even cutting, you've straightened the tree up. Like, depending on how lanky some of them are, but yeah. The next one I ran into, guys, was Dano. Dano put out some content for us this week, and it was just awesome. It was nice to see him put some stuff out. I always love watching Dano's stuff. So that's Dano Tree Works. Dano did a video called Trees, and then he did the live feed, and he's gnarly. Dano's gnarly. He does those things that you think shouldn't be done. Like so many times I've looked at something and I've been like, dang, I can't believe he did that. But I'm sure Dano has a list, like we're getting ready to go over, of a bunch of different ways to tell if that tree is able to be climbed. And yeah, it's a risky gig though. It just really is. So avoid the barber chair. Yes, 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 yes. I think he meant leaners to barber chair. Oh, really? Dang. Right on. I'm a wedge guy. We cut a good bit of hickory. Barber chairs like crazy. Yeah. Yeah, see, John Bob, we have that issue with hickory. It'll do that too. And that's the reason I don't, instead of like, I will creep one over little by little and then try to take it over with a very small hinge because I'm about the next video will be a shagbark hickory, and they just they pull fiber and stay on the stump so good. They hold a hinge like crazy. Another one that holds a good hinge that I just ran into the other day is willow. Willow hold a really good hinge too. Um, I did a bunch of dead willow trees and fell them, and it was the last day of all that heat, so it was a rough one. So back cleaner on the brain. That is what we porting saws. I ruined 2 hickory trees because I didn't have enough saw. Yeah, that's so important. Having having enough saw there, like that will get into that cut and not get stuck in it too. A lot of times you'll see me shave the sides of the trees. The reason for doing that is because if you've ever been in the middle of your cut and a loose piece of bark gets stuck there, it'll stop your chain and you'll get in a bind because of a loose piece of bark. So it's like, especially those shag barks, they get really rough like that. But sometimes I'll do it to shorten the cut so I can make a single pass. But a lot of times that's what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to avoid that where you get in a bind because of a piece of bark getting stuck across the dogs. David, I am located in Missouri. You brought up a good point about lumber and the integrity of the wood. Yep. Yank. Oh, dang, I didn't even see. Yank, what's up, brother? How are you? Sorry, I skipped by it. So, what was I gonna talk? Son of. Oh yeah, we'll get into those tips too. But yeah, the next video I ran into was Reg Coates. Reg gave us a little bit of just this beautiful area he lives in. He gave us a little clip of uh, doing some canoeing or kayaking, canoeing, I think. So I think it was called Shome Shome Lake, Vancouver Island. Probably not pronouncing that right, but I tried. So what's up with the dude and the tree meter? You know I have to ask. All right. So the next one was August. August put out quite a bit of stuff last week, and it always does. He's pretty steady. It's been a decent week. Cool, right on. I'll put up the conclusion video soon. So August put out some videos. One of them was called "Insanely Strong Throw Balls." I've bought crappy throw balls before. Like I think you can. I think we have one around us that's $10, and you get the string and the throw ball. It's a 16-ounce Forester, and it comes with a 500 foot of Forester string, and it's $10 for the whole thing. It's in one package. They sell it at Menards. So I was blessed. I got a bunch of throw balls sent to me from Jared Sprague, Knee Nigget, and he sent me like a 12, a 14, a 16, like, or maybe it was like an 8, a 10, a 12, a 14, or something like that. I can't remember, but he sent me quite a few, and he sent me Notch's throw ball string too. I really like their throw ball string, and I really like the throw balls. Notch make really good throw balls and throw ball string. So
just had an encounter with a skunk.
Yeah,
Maybe
don't.
he looked around the corner like this. We made eye contact.
Yeah, don't do that. We have a skunk. That's my wife. That's so funny. We have a skunk that is like, he sprayed the neighbor's dog right in the face. He sprayed the other neighbor's dog, and like I've ran into him multiple times, and my wife like sees him every night. They're like are almost friends now. She just ran into him again. And I don't. He's gonna end up spraying my dog, and I'm gonna go on a rampage. So I forgot what I was saying too. That's normal. Oh yeah. So the notch throw balls are really good. The quality's really, really nice. Those Forester ones that I was talking about that are pretty cheap. They're really heavy. I don't like to throw a 16-ounce throw ball. I think that's too heavy. Um, but you know it is what it is. Sometimes I like a 12. That's my favorite one to throw. 14's a little much. 8 is what I use in my gun, but a lot of times it'll shoot it far enough, but the throw ball itself's not heavy enough to get down. So yeah, check out Notch's throw balls. They're really good. I have yet to have one break or mess up, and I have blown out a Weaver one, but that's the only other ones I've had mess up. I had an all gear one. It was trash, and I had a Forester, like a couple different Forester ones, because originally that's the only ones I could get, and they're not the best. The first time I threw it and it hit on concrete, it busted. So, and it's like this crappy little like baggie, a sandwich baggie for your lunch that it's got inside of it. So. Dang it. Notch 14-ounce busted second use. Dang. Weaver bag is going on 6 years. Yeah, I think it's just I don't understand why they don't do a more solid liner in the inside, like a very kind of thick plastic, and then the ball. I think you're gonna have them ones that just happens. Like maybe I'm wrong, but I have I have some that are so old. I have other ones, even those Forster ones that busted open. I took them and wrapped them in tape, and I still use them. They're still good. Um, if nothing else, I'll use them to like weight my line when I rope walk up. So I just, yeah, you come out with these throw balls. Um, the one thing I really like, I like the profile of it, the way it goes straight into the D ring, and I like the D ring at the top as opposed to the normal circular ring. So the D ring allows them to hide the connection point on that ring on the inside of the sew pattern. The problem with the rings is they work their way around sometimes and then it opens up because it's not actually welded together. So I've had bad luck with the rings opening up and then like busting the bag afterwards, but yeah. Skunks eat yellow jackets? Sweet. Wash the dog in tomato juice. Yeah, listen to this. This was so crazy. Before I go on. Okay, so I'm like sitting out on my outside having a cigarette. I look over and the neighbor's dog's loose. He's like a Great Pyrenees lab, and he's loose. And I'm like, dang, that's weird. And he's like chilling in the yard and stuff. And then he goes to the front door and he sits down and lays there. And I'm like, oh, he's a good boy. He didn't even run off. What a good boy. Then all of a sudden he gets up, and I see him look over towards we've got a railroad track that's over here, and it doesn't really get used unless there's like major flooding in the U.S. But he takes off walking over there. They got a little shed over in the corner. And as he walks over to it, all of a sudden, somebody pulled up to the house, and that dog has cornered me. He got loose, and I thought somebody was breaking into my truck one night. And I walked around the side because I heard the jingling. I thought they were like it was keys or change, and it was him. And he was like got all crazy and showed his teeth, started growling at me. And I'm like, "Hold up, homie!" I kind of like backed off, and I was like, "Whatever, you're good." And I went inside. Anytime I go anywhere near over there, he starts growling. So he's kind of crazy. So I wasn't gonna go over and knock on the door and be like, "Hey, your dog's loose," but I seen somebody pull up, and I hollered over. I was like, "Hey, can you let them know that the dog's loose?" And she goes, "Oh yeah, for sure." So she goes inside. Well, he runs over to that shed, gets sprayed in the face by a skunk. The lady who lives there, comes, opens the door, looks over at me, says, "Thanks, sorry about that." The dog's running towards her, and I can see there's something wrong with him. He's like shaking his face and everything, slobber everywhere, and he's like, kind of looks like he can't see where he's going. He ran straight into the house, ran his face on the ground, apparently, because she goes, "Sorry," turns around, shuts the door, and then you hear chaos in that house. "Oh my God, gross! Get out!" And then the door kicks back open, and here he comes back out, and he starts running his face all through the ground and stuff. But yeah, that skunk is not fun. I don't like it. I felt kind of bad. I was like, dang. I don't know. It's not my fault. Not my fault the skunk sprayed him. It was just really bad timing, though. I got stung over 30 times last Sunday, man. Ah, man. Yeah, that sucks, brother. Level Up Gaming. What's up, Level Up? What's up, Level Up? Yeah, the only thing that I have an issue with August is, and it's anything you buy craftsmanship. Like I bought a pen one time, a pen, and I think it was like $15 for this pen. It's because a guy made it from hand and like it was made out of like a socket and all kinds of weird stuff. So I was like, I get that it's gonna cost more. He says that I'm just curious how much they cost. And if it's like a lifetime throw ball, it may be worth it to buy only one throw ball. Problem is I lose them often before they wear out or break. So yeah, but he says it costs him $20 to make the throw ball. So I don't know, you would at least have to sell it for 40 or more. because I mean you want to double your profit. You know that's without labor included, and the price of materials, and so I don't know. I don't know. It just I started thinking about it as he said it. I'm like, man, those are gonna be expensive. But yeah, it's cool to see him always. He's always pushing the limits. He's always trying to make something a little better, and I really dig that because apparently it's helped so many of you guys out there. That part I like more than any of it. Like he seems to have helped so many climbers find that saddle that is their baby, their comfort zone. So like for that, he's awesome. Norio, Norio, what'd you do? Did you act like a kid and get treated like one? It looks like it. Did you have to learn him something, Billy? You gotta be nice, Norio. I just don't get like. Actually, Norio, what in your life have you ever gotten from like being crazy or rude or like I don't even know what your message was. I didn't even read it. Billy's so fast, I didn't even read it. But like, what have you ever gotten in life by being a dick? Knock it off. Like I don't even know what you did, but like have a bit more confidence in yourself because I promise, like you ain't going through your everyday life walking up to people being rude. You only do that stuff on the internet because it makes you feel good about yourself. And like if you need a boost or an uplift, come here and we'll tell you how cool you are. If you're not a dick. So I get by with the big shot. Some people love the big shot, Peter. Some people are after guys, you know. So I dig it all. I think there's times where I try to use all of it. My there's my big shot there behind me. It's so I'm afraid that it's dry rotted, so I'm like afraid to even use it because I'm afraid the rubber slingshot part's gonna break in my face. So that's the reason I haven't gotten it out and actually used it in a while. So David Mays, my friend out near Lake Ozark, is manufacturing a new launcher for $20 retail. Gonna be a real game changer for the industry. That's awesome. Yeah, I put out a video. I don't. It's been years and years ago. $12 is what I paid to make a throw ball launcher, and I talked people through how to make it. I literally walked through the hardware store. First thing I did was bring my throw ball. I walked in. I bought a barrel of PVC, whatever length I needed. I kind of got a little bigger than I needed. I think I got like a 4 foot piece or 3 foot piece or something. So the only thing you need is a tank. Preferably, if you're going PVC, you should get high pressured PVC for the tank part. Um, so you get a piece of pipe that's a little bigger. And no, actually, I think mine's all the same diameter pipe. So I have like maybe a 2 foot tank, and then a ball valve, and then a barrel. It's as simple as it gets. And then you cap the end and drill a hole and put a high pressured valve stem inside of it. And I think $12 is what I spent to make a throw ball launcher, and that was buying them. That was buying everything from a small mom and pop hardware store. So I was probably paying high retail on most of those things, but yeah, it's a really cool thing. That's really cool if he's able to make it and sell it and keep it at that $20 mark, because I'm sure some people, especially nowadays, the gas money you spend going there is probably $8. So then you buy it for 12. There's 20. You could just save your own self time and order it, depending on shipping. So been throwing by hand so far. That's what I do too. I try to yank. I try my best to to make all my throws by hand, and I probably do 98% of them by hand. I'm just curious what other guys used. I've tried a lot of different things. Here, oh Yank, you've not seen this probably. Here you go, brother. Check this out. Since you're kind of new to the channel, I have a prototype. That was sent to me in an order one time from Tree Stuff. Tree Stuff used to partner up with this company called Luke's Floor, and they used to sell like other products. I don't even know if they weren't used products, but like I don't know. So this, check this out. Okay, so it's got a reel right there, like a fishing pole. It's got a brake right here. That's the brake. If you look, that thing, there's a wheel inside there. Let me see if I can get it in the light. See that wheel there? So I think, let's see if I'm right. Yeah, that pinches on that wheel. So the way this works, we have our setup right here, so I can use this throw ball string I have here. I believe the way this works, it's a little plastic guard thing. It's got an opening right here. So the way it works, sideways for you guys. It slides in to the plastic part there. Now it's inside it. Then there's a little seam right here. This goes up and through there, and then onto that. So then from there, yeah. So then from there, I have it upside down. That's why I got confused. See this little metal thing right here? It's got this little pigtail on it. So the way that works, it's kind of like the GRCS, I think. It goes around it like this, and then it weaves in. So now what you've got it going through the whole thing, and your throw ball would be out here. And this thing is on a swing. So you would lower it. The way it actually works is this way, though. So by hand, you would let down on this, and that would pinch the line in there. See? Now it stops. And you swing, and let go, and it would go, however far. And then the cool part is that you can actually reel it back in if you want. And this hooks onto like a 5-gallon bucket. So you could do that if you want. I don't have a bucket in here, but this little setup right here hooks onto a bucket and it clips down, and then you can just reel her back in if you need. It's not the best though for reeling, but I don't really like it. But yeah, what a wild tool, huh? That's for throwing and retrieving throw ball and throw ball line. So it doesn't have a maker mark anywhere on it. I've never seen another one. Oh yeah, hang on. It's called the Retriever. So you may look it up. I mean, the Retriever, the throw ball Retriever. I don't know if it says throw ball beginning, but yeah, that's what it is. So yeah, it's a really cool little kind of gadget I got. I tried it out in some trees. It works. It's just not. It's not that practical. Like I can throw better than I can do with that thing. So I'm sure maybe it would help some people, but I mean, even if you're good at casting a fishing pole, you cast a fishing pole overhand. You don't underhand it most of the time. Sometimes I do. I've converted a junk air framing nailer into. That's cool. Yeah, Yank, this throw ball setup, or this right here, this Big Shot actually has, yeah, because here's the head. Right over here in the corner. Right here. So that, down here, I have this little bow attachment, like a little bit of bowstring on a loop right there. And what happens is this part here is a bow trigger. I clip it onto that, and then there's a ratchet strap that's connected to right here. It's one of them pull ratchet straps. You don't actually, it doesn't ratchet. It's just a clamp one where you push the lever. So the way it works is I would take this and I would hold the exiting part of the ratchet strap in my hand and I step on it, and it will tension, and it holds the tension with the ratchet strap, and then you hit the trigger on the bow, and yeah, you end up with a Big Shot with a bow trigger. So nowadays they have that notch one. I made that years ago. Nowadays they have that notch one that you can just like hook onto them. So throw line retriever. These are excuse Peter. That's a bow fishing setup. From the looks of it, I throw a line in a bucket for a long time. Me too, Yank. I've tried every like kind of throw ball container setup. Now I go with a spool. Like like if you've ever used a flux welder, they come on those spools. The wire does. Those spools are my favorite, and you can just wrap it up and then put a little cut in the spool and hold the end of it. Those work the best because when you're ready to use it, it's easy to wrap up, and then when you're ready to use it, you just drop it on the ground and it rolls, and you can pull as much string out as you want really quick. I prefer to always put all of mine on spools. I've tried. I feel like I've tried everything. I had a creamer container because it had this little hole in the top. I bought the fancy throw ball bags by Weaver, that compact. It was before they made cubes. I still have one outside, and it's like it's a it's a little Weaver climbing bag that zips up, and it's got this little flip top with a hole in it, and it compacts down. It's got these little clips that clip it together, and then you can unclip it, and then it folds out, and then you can. I've tried it all. I feel like, but my personal opinion, a spool is as good as it gets. It works perfect, and I've never had any issues. So I feel like it saves me so much time. Mine is in a flower pot. That's awesome, Grandpa. Oh, what's up, Chris? How are you, brother? If the rubbers are dry rotted, you can replace them with exercising bands. Huh, interesting. We got really? Wow. I never thought about that, man. So I wonder if where they connect them, they just kind of glued them in there a little bit or something. Huh. That's really cool. Yeah, I'm now when next time I go to Walmart or something, I'm gonna look. That's really cool. You learn something every day, man. Learn something every day. I love it. Doing pretty good, Chris. Yeah, I can't complain. It's been hot. It's getting hot in here right now, but I'm dealing with it. How you been, brother? Hopefully good. Okay. The next person I ran into on YouTube that was putting out videos, my man J306 has been kicking content out. I think he just uploaded the video taking a ride in his truck. The man has his set of cars. Like I got one truck that barely runs, and I feel like it's messed up all the time. And this guy's got 50 cars. They're all like mint, and he's good at doing fab work on these cars too. He's an axe builder, and he's a pretty damn good tree guy. So J306. He put out cutting down a poplar with 500i and the JJ Wedge Banger. Um, Pretty good shot. He's a guy that uses wedges. I'm just not. We've had an early fall. Been a beautiful last few weeks. Oh, cool, Chris. Cool. Um, yeah, he was on with that cut, and he put another video out where he had to do another poplar, kind of same situation against the lean. He's good. He's good. He's a good teacher too. He's teaching his son at the time, and here, modern day, he's teaching his son. It's really cool to see. He seems like he's a good teacher. I'm probably not the best at teaching. Sometimes I just ramble for too long, and I feel like I can overwhelm somebody because of it. But yeah. Dan, what is up? We had a massive flood here. Dang. Hope everybody's all right, brother. Dang. So yeah, check Jay out. J306. I don't even remember. He put out a bunch of like car content too. So if you like muscle cars and stuff, Jay's the content is a little bit of muscle cars, and then and car fabbing and restoration and tree work. So he's an entertaining guy. So definitely check out J306. My guy Ground Pounder did some lives. He's always too damn early for me. Like I'm always like dragging along, barely like half awake and grumpy at the time he goes live, and he's always chippery and everything. How's this guy so happy that early in the morning? I'm grumpy. I'm rude. I definitely would never do a live that early. You guys would hate me. It's not a morning person. So, but at least I know it, and I know it because my wife tells me all the time. So another cool video from last week was Jeff Schroeder put out a video with a new rigging device that I have yet to see. Actually, I think I did see it at one point, but I didn't comprehend what it was. So what it is, it's like a porter wrap with a hole in it, and it hooks with a sling where it would normally hook, except for that part's solid on a normal porter wrap, and it goes through this hole, and then it takes a kind of an abrupt turn and twist around the thing, and then you wrap like a normal porter wrap. He was using it as an overhead rigging point, so I think maybe that was a little tough on it. But Oxford, Connecticut, dang. Traded my old Zigzag and $55 for an almost new Zigzag Plus. That's cool. That's awesome, Yank. So yeah, I want to see more of this product. The product is called the Skywrap Mini. So just that original entry point at first bend seems abrupt for me to run smoothly and be able to dial in, especially on smaller things. Um, and I didn't see at any point that you were able to let it run either. Like I seen it hold the stuff. Like the edit showed him rigging the limbs, but as soon as they stopped, like they would rig stationary, boom, hit the tree and settle, and then it would clip off. So I'm just kind of curious how it actually lowers and stuff. Um, I would hate for somebody to like be like, "Oh, I gotta get me one of those. Jeff used it," and like, I just want to know more about it. That's it. That's all. I want to know more about it. I want to see Jeff use it some more. I'm curious. I think it would be better used as a mini porter wrap for self rigging, almost as a friction as a friction device that you control while you're rigging your own branches. So, but I don't know a whole lot about it, so I'm gonna look into it. Maybe we'll talk about that next time. But then we had a newcomer. He told me last week. I had no idea, brother. Rusty's Tree Care. Brandon. How many tops? That was the video I watched. I love the little subtle techniques. The first thing I seen, he's in a pine tree, and instead of he's climbing DRT, and instead of getting his rope all covered and pitched, and sap and ruining his rope, he carried up a speed line strap, choked it around where he wanted to be, and was climbing off that. You don't ruin your rope that way. You ain't covering your rope in sap. A speed line strap can save your rope for a day, especially when you find yourself in them crazy pines. So check out Rusty's Tree Care and Brandon. I'll be watching more of his content. I just now became a subscriber. I had no idea, brother. So stoked to see what comes next, though. I like it so far. So keep at it, and we'll definitely keep covering you here. I always climb with a few speed line straps. Sound like me, brother? I at least have 3, sometimes 4 on me at all times. I have 2 yellows and 2 purples because purples are like twice as long. So yeah. I hate pine trees when the sap is running. Yeah, Chris, they're rough. But, you know, a friction saver or running off a speed line strap, you can save your rope. You use the same ones? That's funny. See, that's what's useful, that's what's practical, that's what's effective. So it's like it doesn't surprise me that we do the same things. Then we had an hour or so of close proximity lightning of a child last week. Tons of rain. Yeah. Well, we would finish working every day, and then all of a sudden, the second we finished and we're about killed over because of the heat, black clouds would roll in, the sun would go away, and it would rain. And I was like, what? So we would get like just brutally destroyed by the heat all day, and then all of a sudden it would get cool. Or it would look like it's going to rain real quick, and then stop, and then become insanely humid and like hard to breathe. 2 pints a day and 2 straps. Oh, that's awesome. I would use them for redirects or use them to rig small stuff. We are very alike. The ability to be able to dog leash something sometimes is the ticket. No problem, Brandon. Like I said, if I would have stumbled across your stuff before that, I would have subscribed. I just had no idea. I've tried to put out a few different like community posts for you guys, and let everybody know, like, hey, if you have a YouTube channel and you want me to watch stuff, I can bring a little bit of publicity your way. Put your name. Also, I didn't really get much for feedback on the last video, so I'm probably not going to put that much work, especially into like background stuff, and it didn't do the best on views so far, so don't know if I'm going to go that in depth with the videos anymore. But and I just didn't get any feedback really, so we had a few summer storms roll through the past few weeks. Other than that, almost zero moisture this last 30 days. Yeah, we haven't had any major rain. When it rained hard. But yeah, everything's like killing over, and it's been crazy dry. Everybody's grass is kind of like crunchy, so. Here's something we could talk about. Here, let me finish this up. JLM Tree Service. That's the other one. He's a bit of a country fella like myself. He's starting to build a channel. He's a guy who puts out regular content. So some people just want regular content. And he seems to be pretty steady with it. So check out JLM Tree Service. He put out a video called "Would You Climb This Really Dead Tree?" And my answer is yes. Yes, I would. And his video is the reason I started to think, well, that wouldn't be my definition of a really dead tree. That the tree he did. So that's just personally my opinion. And as he did it, I think he started to realize the tree was healthier than he had originally thought. But I'm not in his head. I can't really talk for him. So storming here right now. I've been doing storm work every day for the past 2 months. Dang. I had a twin spar, so the pulley and ring were set, but a strap for a redirect saved my ass a few times. Yeah, just having them with you and being able to have that little extra redirect, or where you get way out on a limb and you're gonna like try to mid tie or tip tie, and then you realize, oh, there's not enough room. Like this is gonna hit. So you can quickly just slap the strap right below the cut and change the rigging point. There's just so many. I use straps in so many useful ways. Sometimes I will, if I'm doing just, I'm on a skinny top and I need it to go the direction I want, I'll throw a strap up in the top, especially the purple ones, because they're just long enough. As I'm cutting, I can grab and pull and notch it the direction I want. So, speed line straps, very, very, very useful for me. So, let's talk about the video I put out. I put out a YouTube short. Um, and I said, have any of you tree guys seen this? What I was dealing with was a hackberry tree that was secreting excessive amounts of a sticky substance. So I think what it's called is they're called aphid, aphids. Yeah, aphids. And it's a little white fuzzy bug. So hackberry, you guys will experience this. Probably mainly the reason I feel like we're experiencing it more now is because our winters haven't been very cold. So these eggs are surviving through the winter and hatching. And so this year this lady come outside and her tree was like raining on her in the middle of a crazy sunny hot day. And she's like, I don't understand what's happening. Can you come over and check it out? So originally my thought was like there's a wound somewhere and it's leaking sap, because she's like everything outside is sticky, your feet stick to everything, everything's disgusting. And I'm like, whoa, that's weird. So I went over there. It's a hackberry tree. I get to checking some things, and it turns out it has what is called honeydew. So honeydew is a reaction that the tree does when it is dealing with a major infestation of those aphids. And so what'll happen is it's actually not secreting sap. It's like a sugary substance, but it's not sap, and it pours out of the leaf. And it's like a defense mechanism that the tree does. Don't really know why. Um, don't think you can really change it, but it's literally pouring, like not pouring, but steadily dripping out of every leaf up in this tree. So it's like raining underneath the tree. So you guys may start to run into this kind of stuff. Maybe this is just a fluke thing. It seems to be more of a regular thing. I didn't look at the locations on where this is a regular thing, but it seems to be kind of a regular occurrence that they have info and ways to deal with it and stuff that I was able to look up. Let's see. Our blackberries do the same here. The crap is horrible on vehicles. Yeah, so you can actually treat it. I was in an umbrella tree last week that was covered in it. Dang. Thought honeydew. There's something digging up in my damn shed. Did you hear that? What the hell? That was crazy. Let me see something. Let's go see what this is, YouTube. This is crazy. What the hell? So there was a hole there earlier today, and I like filled it full. What is that? Holy cow. I don't know what that was, but it sounded like it was about to like rip through the wall and come into my shed. That was crazy. My dog has been flipping out like week because he knows there's something here. And he just keeps like losing his mind. Leave the corner of the shed here. He's like so positive there's something there. And he's for sure right. There's something like it's like legit under my shed right here. There was like a hole to get out of my shed and out from underneath it, and I filled it in with gravel and put a stump on top of it. So that's probably why it's digging right now, trying to get out. I don't know what it is, so I better not be Bigfoot. I'm freaking now. I don't know what that was. So it can go somewhere else though. That was crazy. It was like I don't know why I ignored it for so long. I just was like, I don't know. It got loud before I realized it. And I forget what I was saying. Yeah, so I can treat that tree, that hackberry tree, with permaculture oil, but it's in the dormant season, and then you can spray it with the oils, and that will kill off all those eggs that are trying to make it through. So, yeah, that's the only thing I told her could be done with. Can I pet that dog? That is the funniest clip. That little girl is the cutest little girl. There's like a black bear, and she's like, "Can I pet that dog?" And her mom says no. She's like, "Can I pet that dog?" She just keeps going. I would think it's probably a possum. That's kind of what I was thinking. I just hope it's not that skunk because, like, I don't like him. Like legit underneath me. That was so crazy. And it hasn't made a noise since I stomped. It heard me the whole time and it didn't bother it. I'm in here talking. I've caught you. Dang. Well, that's scary. Calling the mountain monster crew. Yeah, exactly, Squirrely John. I'm gonna have to call somebody because I don't want to mess with the thing. I have traps out there, and I've been trying to catch the cats, but yeah, it could be a cat, I guess. I don't really know. This asshole neighbor I got over here, he lays like a industrial baking sheet full of cat food out on his porch for all the stray cats in town every night. He goes out there and pours this big ass. So he's got like this pontoon boat over there, and the cats live inside of it. They've destroyed it, like ripped the tarp all up, and it's just there's hundreds. It's disgusting, and I have to deal with it. And I'm the type of person I like to go outside and like clean my flower beds and stuff like that, and you can't no more. So yeah, I'm not a fan of his. Like we used to get along, and now I despise him with every bit of my being because of what he does to everybody in the neighborhood with his odd obsession with feral cats. Like it's disgusting. So yeah, when I first got my dog, what I paid for him, an arm and a leg for purebred Pyrenees, and that's what my daughter had to have. And then he almost died because he caught some disease because I think he was eating cat crap that was in our yard. So I hate. My wife used to have a cat inside, and it passed away. So she kind of likes cats, and I kind of like that cat because it was just chill and just stayed inside and did his thing. But even that I didn't really like because there's a litter box in there, and cats are gross. But that cat was cool. Like I would much rather it be here and her be happy as opposed to it be gone now. But yeah, life throws you a curveball sometimes, and you lose your buddy. So Rubio? Is that what that says? Ah, dang it. Yes, Rubio the Great. What is up, Rubio? How are we? Putting cat food out like that will bring skunks in. Yeah, Billy, that's exactly why the skunk goes through my yard. He goes through my carport. That's why my wife sees him, because he's going through the carport to go eat cat food. And then you hear the cats over there trying to fight it every night because it like bullies its way in. But it's enormous. Like it's got the littlest, skinniest head. And then all of a sudden, when I got a view of it from above it, like I was down low looking underneath the car, and I was like face to face with it one time, and I'm like, oh god, he's little, but that was like his little skinny face. It's like a they look like a ferret, but with this huge furry fat body. Well, he's huge. He's enormous because he eats cat food all night long. Disgusting. He's a disgusting human, just in general. He's gross. Like, and I don't really care if you like cats. Like, I really don't give a damn what you like. Like, I've called animal control, and they show up, and he's such a little scuzz bucket that when they show up, he's like, "No, I don't got no cats. I don't got no cats." And then goes out there and does this. He waits till it's dark outside, comes outside with a flashlight, and I'm always looking at him, and he's like, pretend like he's not. Dude, I know what you're doing. I hear you pour cat food on that big ass pan every night. So I don't know. Sometimes I want to go over there and kick him in the head. Oh, dude, you have no clue, ground pounder. That's like, I'm at that point, dude. I don't know. I'm used to being in the country, and you can handle something if it's on your land. Not in the city. Every kid in the neighborhood's allowed to cut through your yard. And I can't handle this. Like, I can't handle people. I'm going to hurt somebody. And that's why I should be in the country. But, once again, sometimes life throws you a curveball. And you move to the city when you've lived your entire life in the country. We do. We do. So, let's do this. My top 10 ways to find out if a tree is safe to climb. You ready? So, we have to put a time stamp on this. We would say, and that's GP's tip of the day. Yeah, right on. I'll try that, GP. So, if we put a timestamp on it, we say at hour 20 minutes is where we do the top 10. Maybe I'll do that in the comment section and pin it or something, because I'm sure maybe some people will go to watch this solely for that. But number one, does the tree still have any leaves attached? So what I mean by that, hang on, I'm trying to keep up with comments this time. Yeah, that's exactly the way I am, Chris. I mind my own business. I stick to myself, but I'm that guy like I'll help all of you and gladly do it just to do it. Like I enjoy helping people. So I don't want help from no one though. And I don't want anything from no one, but I just want them to respect my place as much as I respect theirs. And that's not reciprocated, and that's why I want to strangle some people. So right on, ground powder. I just don't make it become my business, though. Yeah. Yeah. Okay, so my top 10. Does the tree have leaves? So even if it's dead, a lot of times, like you'll go up to an oak tree, you'll see that there's still leaves attached up there. That usually means something abruptly kind of has quickly taken the tree out. So that gives you a little bit of info you can download on, okay, it was alive enough one season ago to produce leaves, and they've dried out and they've yet to fall. So that gives you a little tell sign. And then you'll maybe see like there's leaves over here, but there's none over here. So maybe this section's more dead. You can download a little bit of data from simply that. Does it have leaves on it? Okay. Is there any green? It is half of it brown leaves, half of it green leaves. At certain during depending on what season, like the color of that leaf, the way it looks is going to tell you a lot of stuff. So, like that's one thing to watch out for. Is is there if a certain section has no leaves, the rest of the tree's green, that section's got an issue. That's not the thing you want to tie into. That's not the thing you want to be messing with. That's the spot you want to avoid, and you know that it's a bit dangerous, kind of precarious. So, does it have leaves? Are they green? Okay. Now, is there bark missing? Does it have? Is somebody taking off? What's up, Brian? I'll see you, Peter. Have a good one, brother. Stay safe. Is it Peter leaving? Yeah. Okay. Um. So is there bark missing? So that tells you the tree is pretty far along in the decay process or the dying process if it started to lose sections of bark or it's been hit by something, either lightning or you know it's something's ran into it and it'll be missing a section of bark like a lawnmower or a truck or something like that. But up in it, if it's losing the bark, you can start to be like, okay, well, it's far enough gone that you know that it's completely dead. It's shedded its protective layer. Because that's what the bark is. The bark is simply its protective layer to keep the tree from getting sun scald and being burnt up or being damaged by other stuff. That cambium layer is the tender softness of the tree, the living part. And it's got this rough bark exterior to kind of protect it. Um, so is it missing bark? Number 4 would be, do you see conch? Is the one main thing that I look for, and that would be mushrooms. You'll start to see these little white mushrooms on the tree. That means it's even further along in the death process. Sometimes the bark will hold on and it will develop conch, and the conch will go through and into the wood of the tree, so it'll hold the bark on. So you have to kind of watch out. Just because there's bark there doesn't mean it's good bark. It could just be mush. And when you start to see that conch on there or any kind of mushroom, you know that there's a major issue. It started to produce. It's decaying so far. It's so far in the decay process that's producing mushrooms up there. So you know, wow, it's in rough shape. You gotta take off, Yank. All right, brother. Thanks for hanging out. I appreciate you. So number 5 tip that I would do would be take my axe, I'll smack the tree. That'll tell me if it's hollow. It'll put some shockwaves into the tree. If it rattles a big chunk of bark loose, like be ready when you're doing that. But smacking at the tree will tell you the solidness of the tree a lot of times and the noise and the way the axe responds and stuff. So smacking it with an axe is a simple one that can give you some info too. Number 6, and I try to usually I'll do this one when I'm getting ready to fall the log or if I'm falling a tree hole. You can plunge your saw in to find out if the tree is hollow. That's a for sure way to tell. So you plunge a hole into it and you can feel it go through and you can see in, you know it's hollow, you know how much cambium you have there that you're messing with. So doing a plunge cut and plunging in is a good trick with your saw. That'll tell you how solid it is. Um, so the issue with that is you don't want to go plunge cutting the tree a bunch of times and climb it. So usually if I'm doing that plunge cut technique, I'm falling the tree whole or I am about to fall a log. So right on, Squirrely John. Oh, and guys, yeah, maybe I'll try to do something special maybe when we hit 10,000. I think we're only like 15 or 20 off or something. So it's been such a long road to get to 10,000, but we're getting close. That was number 6. You gotta kind of be weary of that though. That plunge cutting thing, you're putting a hole in the tree. Just remember that. So number 7 would be: is there any tear outs or breaks up in the tree? So if when you're looking up there, is there sections that you can tell have failed? Like, is it starting to blow tops out and they're breaking out? Ash trees. I have one that I'm about to. I know the tree is very, very far gone because there's multiple breakouts up in the tree that I can see. That there's a break and it's kind of a stub that's left there, and that tells me it was those limbs, especially those limbs, were pretty far gone to be breaking out. So yeah, you can check for tear outs or breaks, and then number 8 is vertical cracks or horizontal cracks. Now, a vertical crack sometimes isn't all that bad because I can't say that it's okay. Like a vertical crack can be bad because that's where the potential for barber tearing can happen when you start to see vertical cracks and seams in it. Um, Horizontal cracks are very bad, really, really bad because of the way the trees form those rings. That's telling you it's going through the whole of the tree as opposed to going with the way the grain goes. So horizontal cracks, don't. That's a no go. That's as bad as it gets. Leave that alone. So that was number 8. Number 9, and this is something I'll do if I'm up there and I'm climbing. I will have them send me up my pole saw, and I will attach it and I will stretch it out as far as I can, and I'll reach out and I'll break the tips off the limbs and see how that breaks, the way it responds. Especially by reaching out towards the tips, it gives me a little info on how the rest of it is. So there's times where I've reached out towards the tip and go to pull on it and it breaks the whole limb. So yeah, having a pole saw, like a pole pruner that you can really, I think mine's like, it's got to be like 20, 25 foot. It's crazy long. And it, I can test some things with it. Even from the ground, I can test some things with it. So having that gives you that where you can download a little more info. Um, what did you know? If it stinks, run. Right on. Um, Number 10, and this is my favorite and the one that I do 99% of the time on any kind of dead sketchy tree, and that is the throw ball test. I will take a throw ball, I will throw it up into the tree, and then I will simply grab the throw ball string. I won't set a rope, and I will pull on the tree with the throw ball string. That's why you want to have good, strong throw ball string. A lot of times it can get kind of stuck, and when you're pulling, you don't want to just break your line every time. So, good throw ball string is pretty strong. I've pulled trees over using throw ball string, but yeah, sometimes if I'm like, I don't know if I can get to that, I'll take a throw ball, throw it up on it, put a rope on it, and break it. Um, but you can get some data and see how the tree moves in general by kind of pulling on it and messing with it, and then using the natural surroundings, the wind and stuff. The way that the tree's responding in the wind, is it blowing all over the place, wiggling like crazy, bouncing like there's so many little things that you can do to get some info on is that tree safe to climb. You just have to download all these little things and then use them accordingly. So I think it was 11. So that's 11, and I'm sure there's quite a few more. There's probably multiple more. Is Dano here? What's up, Dano? How are you, brother? Listen, that thing's digging again. I guess it's only gonna dig when I talk. That was crazy. It started digging again. It's legit, like right here at the corner. So that hole had to have been where it was getting in and out. So now it's trying to dig another hole off the side. Be there with my axe and just donk it in the head when it comes out. It's ridiculous. And then me being like, shh, like you guys have ever been able to talk back. That's crazy. Yeah, well, my phone is like cherry hot. I've had it on the charger the whole time. smashed my charge all up in there. And it's been going for quite a while. I have live traps, Dano, that they're just too small. I need to get those clamping ones that's like, so, like a little bear trap one, or like a muskrat or a beaver, something like that. So, GP, right on, brother. Well, I'm about to end this anyway. Use the sword. Oh yeah, you're right. I should use the sword. Where'd the sword go? I don't even remember anymore. Dang, I legit don't know where the sword even went. I put it somewhere. I don't know anymore. Man. Yeah, I could use that big, massive knife instead. I just could just wait for him, and as soon as he sticks his head out, don't. Yeah, another thing. My accident I ended up happening. Let's end with this. So, I had my throw ball up into a tree. I had multiple times I've been trying to hit it, and I had missed it multiple times. I got aggravated. I ended up taking a throw that I shouldn't have, and being like, well, that'll work, because the way it was going onto this little stem, this little like stem, little stick, the way it went on it, and it went down the tree, I thought that's gonna be strong enough, especially for what I'm doing. So I like stood on it with my rope walk and stuff. I bounced super, super hard, nothing. And I'm like, okay, should be good. Legit. I got no more than about 6 foot up, maybe 8, and it just broke. And I come straight down onto my butt cheeks and my lower back. Luckily, the saddle kind of cushioned it, but like landed on my saw, and my back still, like I just crammed my body, compacted it, and it was, knocked the breath out of me. I got like a flash, like just a quick flash when I hit, boom, and I was just like, whoa, it happened so fast. And depending on when that thing gave, could have been like the difference between some sore butt cheeks and tailbone or a broken back. So I was hot, and I thought, well, it'll hold long enough for me to get up there, and I'll fix it. I'll get up there and I'll get it off that, and I'll drop it into a fork, or and yeah, I bounce tested, I did everything, and I no more than hooked up into it. I rope walked one step, and then I have a really bad knee, and I got a kind of bad knee. So when I go on to the really bad knee, and I go to rope walk with it, it broke when I was on the good one, so I only had my bad leg to kind of, and I just didn't. I just kind of took it onto my back, but yeah, kind of hurt, but don't settle for your tie-in point. Take the time, make 1,000 throws if you got to. It's gonna save you time in the long run, being safe. So be safe, guys. I'm gonna end it with 14 thumbs up and 13 people. So I appreciate you guys hanging out. I have no idea what number video this is, and we're gonna get this guy a lift. Yeah, yeah. Hey, I bring it. Like, I appreciate you guys. 15 thumbs up. 16. Oh, you guys are awesome. Hey, thank you guys. I appreciate you. If there's anything I can do for you, that comment section is always there. I'm always willing to answer questions. If you get a topic for something that you want to do next time, leave it in the comments. I'm always up for new topics. I appreciate you. I'll catch you on the next one. Enjoy the rest of your weekend. And have a safe week next week. Bye.